Every time I clocked in for the night shift, the first thing I noticed was always the same. The light felt cold. The fluorescent tubes inside the station were bright, but not in a warm way, more like a hospital hallway, flat, harsh, and a little too clean. One of the lights would occasionally buzz and flicker, dim for half a second, then snap back to full brightness. During the day, nobody would care. At night, that buzzing felt personal, like the building itself was reminding you were alone. The station sat off a highway between towns. There weren't any houses nearby. Behind the mini-mart, there were a few trees, then nothing but dark space. The road had this endless feeling to it, like it never truly stopped. Some nights you'd go 10, 15 minutes without a single car. Then you'd hear a semi-truck long before you saw it, this low, rolling rumble until its headlights washed everything in white for a few seconds, and it was gone again. After that, the darkness felt even thicker. That night, it was raining, not heavy, not dramatic, just steady enough to make everything damp and reflective. The sound of it tapping on the canopy and the pavement was quiet but constant. The air smelled like wet asphalt and gasoline, with a layer of exhaust whenever a car passed. Inside, there was the stale smell of old coffee from the machine and the faint sweetness of the warming case where we kept snacks. My shift started at 11 p.m. The first hour was usually normal. A couple truck drivers, someone grabbing cigarettes or an energy drink, someone asking for the bathroom key. Then it would go dead. After midnight, the station didn't feel like a workplace anymore. It felt like a little island of light surrounded by an ocean of dark. I was alone that night. Usually there were two of us, but my co-worker was off and my boss had said, "You'll be fine. We've got cameras, we've got an alarm, there's a panic button." That kind of thing is easy to say in daylight. At 1 in the morning, on the side of a highway, it's just words. By 12:30 a.m., the traffic had completely dried up. I was behind the counter, half watching the security monitor, half pretending to do paperwork on the computer. On a night shift, your attention changes. Even when nothing is happening, you watch for movement, not because you're paranoid, because you're awake. That's when I saw headlights in the distance. At first I felt relieved. Finally, a customer. But as the car got closer, the relief didn't stick. The sedan pulled up by the pumps and stopped, and the engine didn't shut off. The headlights stayed on too, blasting straight into the front windows. Most people pull in, turn off the car, maybe kill the lights, then get out. This one just sat there. For a few seconds, nobody got out. And even though it was probably only 10 seconds, it felt longer because of how quiet everything else was. I couldn't see clearly through the glare, but I had this strong impression there was more than one person inside. I could make out a figure in the driver's seat. Their heads seemed angled toward the store, like they were watching me. Then the driver's door opened and a man stepped out. He was tall and thin. He wore a hoodie with the hood up, even though it wasn't that cold. He walked with his hands in his pockets, and he didn't take them out once. That detail sounds small, but my brain locked onto it immediately. Why won't he show his hands? He opened the mini-mart door. The little bell above it rang. In the empty station, that bell sounded way louder than it should have. "Hey," I said, forcing my voice to sound normal. "How's it going?" He didn't respond. He lifted his head slightly and scanned the store. Not the way someone looks for a product, more like the way someone checks a room. Then he moved slowly down an aisle. I stayed on my feet behind the counter. I didn't sit. I didn't even realize my shoulders were tense until I tried to relax them and couldn't. I remember thinking, stay calm. Maybe he's just weird. Weird isn't illegal. He lingered in front of the energy drinks. Then he walked to the cigarette display behind me, like he wanted me to notice him looking at it. Then he drifted back toward the aisles, without picking anything up. Finally, he came to the counter. "Bathroom key," he said. Flat voice. No please, no greeting, just a demand. The bathroom was outside, around the side of the building. The key stayed under the counter. Normally I'd just hand it over without thinking, but I couldn't ignore the car still running out there, headlights aimed at the store like a spotlight, and the driver who hadn't moved. "The bathroom's on the right," I said. "I can unlock it for you if you want." He stared at me, not angry, not confused, just measuring. The eye contact lasted a second too long. "You unlock it," he said. I took the key from under the counter. As I did, I glanced at the little panic button by the register. They'd shown it to me during training. Press it and help gets notified. Nobody had ever tested it in front of me. In that moment, my eyes kept returning to it because my brain was looking for options. I walked out with the key. The rain hit my face in a light mist. The smell outside was sharper, gas fumes, wet dirt, exhaust. The man followed a couple steps behind me, still with his hands in his pockets. I unlocked the bathroom door and pulled it open. He didn't go in. He stayed I tightened my grip on the key without meaning to. The metal teeth dug into my fingers. "I opened it," I said carefully. "Go ahead. I'll wait and you can give it back." He stepped closer, and without wanting to, I glanced at the car again. The headlights were still on. The engine was still running. The driver was still there. And I swear I saw movement in the back seat, like someone shifted or leaned forward. I can't prove it, but at that moment, it felt real enough to make my skin prickle. Then the man asked, quieter this time, "Are you alone?" That question changed everything. All the background noises snapped into focus. The rain, the distant road hum, the fluorescent buzz inside the store, even my own breathing. In a normal place, that question might be harmless. Out there, in the middle of nowhere, it felt like a lock clicking into place. I lied. Instantly. "We've got security," I said. "A patrol comes by sometimes." His face barely moved, but something flickered there, like he'd filed the information away. Then, suddenly, he turned and started walking back toward the store. I followed fast. Not because I wanted to confront him, but because I didn't want him out of my sight. I had this sick feeling that if he got inside and I was outside, or vice versa, I'd lose control of the situation completely. Back inside, under the bright lights, he finally took one hand out of his pocket. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a thin plastic card. Blank. No logo, no name, no photo. Nothing. He placed it on the counter. The little tap it made sounded harsh in the quiet. "Open the register," he said. My body went cold. My brain split in two, one side screaming, "No," the other side whispering, "Do whatever keeps you alive." I could feel my hands trembling, so I pressed them against the counter to hide it. "I can't," I said. It's locked into the system. It doesn't open like that." It was a lie, a bad one. But I wasn't trying to sound convincing. I was trying to buy time. On night shift, time is the only thing you can steal back. He leaned forward, closer over the counter. I could smell him now. Wet air, something like cigarettes or mint, and that damp outside smell stuck to clothes. His eyes didn't blink much. "Don't mess with me," he said. Then, from outside, the car gave a short horn beep. One quick sound, like a signal. The man's head turned toward the window for half a second. That half second was all I had. I reached down and hit the button under the counter. Or at least I think I did. My fingers were shaking so hard that afterward I wasn't even sure if I'd actually pressed it or just grazed it. And then I moved. There was a staff door behind the counter that led into a tiny back room. There was a phone back there, another exit, A second barrier. "Hold on," I blurted, grabbing at the computer mouse like I was dealing with a glitch. "The register's frozen." It sounded stupid, but stupid excuses can still create a pause. He hesitated, like he was deciding whether to follow. I backed up fast, grabbed the staff door handle, and slipped through. I slammed it shut and turned the lock. The click of the lock felt insanely loud, like I'd just announced exactly where I was. The back room didn't feel safe. It just felt like a smaller box. My hands fumbled for my phone. The screen lit up my face, so I angled it against my chest. I called emergency services. "I'm at a gas station off the highway," I whispered. "There's a man inside demanding money, and there's a car outside with the engine running. I'm locked in the back." The operator asked for the location. I gave it as calmly as I could. Then I listened. Through the thin door I could hear movement, shoes shifting, a soft scrape near the counter, the faint clink of something hitting a shelf. My heart was so loud in my ears that I kept mistaking it for footsteps. Then the front doorbell rang again. He'd gone outside. A moment later I thought I saw a shadow pass under the gap at the bottom of the staff door. I can't be sure, but the dark beneath the door changed, like someone stood close to it. The handle jiggled. Once. Twice. I stopped breathing. A single thought pushed up through everything else. What if he has a key to this door too? The handle moved again. Harder. Then, nothing. Silence. And then the sound outside changed. The car engine revved higher. Tires hissed on the wet pavement like they slipped for half a second, and then the vehicle accelerated hard and disappeared into the dark. The tension didn't leave my body when the car drove off. If anything, it got worse. Because they left doesn't mean it's over. It just means not right now. I stayed in the back room. I didn't step out. I kept listening for any sign they were still nearby. Footsteps outside, another car, the bell, nothing. About 10 minutes later, though it felt like an hour, I heard heavy footsteps in the store again, followed by a firm knock. "Police, are you okay?" I didn't open the door immediately. I made them identify themselves and show ID through the small gap. My hands were shaking so hard I struggled with the lock. When I finally opened the staff door and stepped out, I looked down and realized my fingertips were white from gripping the key earlier. My whole body felt numb and over-aware at the same time. The officers searched the store and the area outside. The man was gone. The car was gone. They checked the cameras. The footage wasn't great, but it showed enough. The car never shutting off, the headlights staying on, the man lingering in the aisles like he was killing time, then coming straight to the counter. They couldn't make out the license plate. The angle was wrong, and the glare didn't help. That was one of the worst parts. Proof. That wasn't quite proof. They looked around the bathroom area too, but the rain had washed away anything useful. I gave a statement. My boss showed up acting sympathetic, but I could see the "please don't shut down the store" look on his face. I didn't care about that. All I could hear in my head was the question the man asked me outside. "Are you alone?" Because that question isn't something you ask casually. I kept working there for a little while after that, but nothing felt the same. Every time the bell rang, I'd pause for half a second before looking up. Whenever headlights appeared in the distance, I couldn't relax until I heard the engine shut off. If someone asked for the bathroom key, I started insisting I'd unlock it myself. Every time. And one weird thing happened after too. Some nights, when the store was empty, I'd swear I could smell something sweet, like shampoo, even though it made no sense. Other times, when the fluorescent buzzing stopped for a moment, I'd flinch like I'd just heard a key turn in a lock. Eventually I quit. Finding another job wasn't hard, but the idea of working alone at night changed for me. People think the night shift is just boredom and being tired, But the real difference is that night gives certain people confidence. It gives them cover. It gives them time. And on an isolated stretch of highway at midnight, when a stranger looks at you like a problem to solve and asks, "Are you alone?" You don't forget that. Not really.